Hey everyone, David MacDonald here from Vitality Fitness Calgary. Today we're going to talk to you about the power of developing habits and why habits are so important in helping you reach your long-term health and fitness goals and to help you sustain and make those changes permanent. I heard a very great quote the other day, and the quote was, "Motivation gets you started, habit keeps you going." And it is very profound and very true. You know, we're all motivated when we start. You know, we're all gung-ho, we're all ready to take action. You know, we're all interested in what the next step is and what we can apply to help us reach our goals. We're very much like that in the short term, you know, in the first couple weeks, couple months. And then once we start to settle in and we start to build a routine and we start to get comfortable, that's when we tend to go back to our old habits and our old ways. And unfortunately, that's when we can start sliding backwards. And that happens because we haven't developed the habits necessary to keep that momentum going that we had at the very beginning when we were extremely eager and gung-ho and motivated to reach the goal that we set for ourselves. So that's where setting habits is so important, and habits are very much a long-term thing. Habits are going to ensure that the success that you achieve is both permanent and long-term, and that's sustainable, and that's something that you're going to be able to achieve and maintain the rest of your life. So motivation, while very important when you're starting out, we all need a kick in the pants. We all need something to create desire and to create some form of eagerness and passion to get us started in the form of motivation. It's very important, but habit is even more important because that's what's really going to get us through those tough times, and that's really going to get us through those times when we start to slip, we start to feel comfortable, we get back into our old ways. So one of the most important things to remember when building habits is that building habits takes time, and building habits does require that you are going to fall off the wagon and you are going to fail many times. And the best analogy I can give you is learning, you look at a child that's learning to walk. When a child is learning to walk, many times they're going to fail. They're going to fall down, they're going to grab onto the wall or to the chair and try to hold themselves up, and they're going to keep falling down, and they're going to keep falling down until they learn how to walk, until they learn the habits of biomechanics and how to move their body and motor control and all of these things. And the reason why they're successful is because they keep getting up when they fall down. Okay, they don't stop, they don't get stuck, they don't beat themselves up, they don't say, "Oh, I'm a failure and I'm not good enough and I'm never going to reach my goals." A child, a baby, they would never do that. They just keep going. So it's very innate in us, and it's very much instinctual to keep going in the face of adversity. So you got to remember that when you're building habits, that it's not going to happen overnight, and that you are going to fail several times. The failure is what you need to reach success when you're building habits. You need to fail maybe 7, 8, 9, or 10 times to make that 11th time the real success, and to make that 11th time where that habit really sticks. Okay, there's a lot of research that actually backs this up. If we go into research on addiction, with people who are, trying to overcome an alcohol addiction or a drug addiction, relapse is a very, very common thing. And I think on average, most people relapse about 7 times before they can become sober and before they can make that state of sobriety a permanent thing. So you can look at habits as the exact same thing. All a habit is it's a way in which we've done something over time consistently, okay? And we've wired our brain to expect that consistency. And we've wired our brain to create that consistency. And all we have to do is we have to just keep interrupting that pattern, interrupting that wiring, and eventually our brain is going to rewire itself and create a new habit and put us on a new path and in a new direction. So part of creating habit changes and into creating healthy lifestyle changes, a big part of that is failure. A big part of that is falling off the wagon. A big part of that is, going off your diet and eating some really crappy food that you didn't intend to eat. Part of that is skipping your workouts. But what's most important is getting back on track. And that's where most people fall short, is they get off track, but instead of getting back on track right away, they stay off track and they stay there and they wallow, unfortunately, in some pity, in some self-pity for months and weeks and maybe even years. So the key to remember here in all of this is when you're creating a habit and when you really want to take advantage of the power of habit, is that habits are a long-term thing and they take time to develop and they take time to create, and it does require a lot of failure and falling down and falling off the wagon. But the key to remember in all of this is that it's a necessary step. Failing and falling down and falling off the wagon is part of the process and part of the steps that you need to take to build habits. Much like a child that walks, a child has to fall down, and they have to fall down several times to understand how to walk, to understand how to learn from their mistakes, to understand, oh, okay, I'm not doing it this way again because I did that before and it didn't work, so I'm gonna go over here and do this. Another analogy I'll give you guys is, if you were to go into your house and you were to turn the lights on and the lights didn't turn on, what would you do? Well, you would try to figure out why the lights didn't turn on. Maybe you would go to your panel, your electrical panel, and see if a breaker tripped. Maybe you would call an electrician, maybe you would call a friend, but what you would do is you would keep seeking out solutions to try to get your lights to turn back on. You just wouldn't say, you know what, I'm gonna give up. Guess I'm not gonna have lights in my house anymore. Of course you wouldn't do that, because you know with certainty that there's a solution out there, and you know with certainty that you're gonna be able to at least fix the problem, maybe yourself, or you're gonna be able to find someone that can help you in fixing that problem and overcoming that challenge. And that's the exact degree of certainty that you need to have with your health and fitness goals, especially when things get tough and you experience failure, you fall down, you fall off the wagon. You have to have such certainty that no matter what, you are gonna find the solution and you're gonna find someone that can help you. You have to have the exact same certainty that you have that if you were to walk into your house and your lights wouldn't turn on, that you would be able to find someone to help you to get those lights working again. So that's the mentality that you wanna take on, with your health and fitness goals, and with developing the habits to sustain your success with with your health and fitness goals. So that's what we wanted to talk to you guys about today with the power of creating habit. Remember, motivation will always get you started. It's a great way to give yourself a kick in the pants, but habit is what keeps things going. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you guys soon.